that's the concern that we have. If it doesn't, if they don't do the commercial construction sequentially with the apartments as they indicate they plan to, the only recourse for the county is to cite them for a zoning violation, as opposed to, like the ordinance suggests and like the others have been approved, to withhold building permits for the apartments.
But we can't do that now, right?
Well, their proffers are worded such that the apartments are totally free to build all 344 without any mandated requirement to stay sequential with the commercial construction. I mean, I trust what they're saying. Staff doesn't have any doubts that they fully intend to construct the commercial as they've said to you tonight. But all we're saying to you is if they don't, if for whatever reason they don't, the apartment developer is free to build all 344 units, and there could be no commercial development. And the only recourse that the county would have is to say, you have not met these percentage targets that you put in your proffers, and so therefore you're in violation of the zoning ordinance. And we go through the enforcement process.
Why can't you hold the building permits over on the condos or townhouses? You're talking about the apartments. I assume that's the brown piece.
It is tied to the townhouses. So Mr. Carter could hold building permits on the townhouses.
That's what I thought.
That's right.
So why don't you just withhold the building permits on the townhouses? I mean, just let them build the apartments on there and get going with it, get people in there, get that going, but tied to that would be the restrictions that if you don't meet the buildings you don't meet you get to town, you get the apartments done. Now you start building, or you get your commercial part going, and if you don't meet it, you don't get it going, we're going to stop your building over on the other side, and then we're going to cite you for zoning violation. Is that okay?
That is
But
one of the properties.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
If the townhouses are all built before the apartments are finished, you've lost your control.
Well, I thought the apartments are going in first.
They may, but there's no guarantee.
This is the problem when it's so many different elements. It's not a cohesive development.
Ms. Nolan, it actually is. It is a cohesive development. What is very different about this piece of property is that it has a substantial environmental feature in the property. And the developer's chosen not to go buy credits, not to build on that area, not to ruin it, but leave it as a backdrop.
Credits.
And what I might also point out, the number 10.2 keeps getting thrown around as far as the acreage of the parcel. It's actually 18 acres of common area that's being left here. All of the upland area on the north side of Commonwealth Drive is upland area. That's all being set aside as common area. There's substantial common area on the north side of Keener Drive, along Keener Drive, a number of ponds that are out here. It's 18 plus acres of common area. 10.2 of that is a forested wetlands, that if I took you there, you wouldn't know that it's a wetlands.
Okay, but I mean, let's stick with the schedule issue here.
Let me ask him a question. Don, didn't I read someplace that you were buying credits from Gloucester? Land, what, you were doing a thing with the wetlands?
We have to. If you'd like me to go into
remediation with Gloucester?
We have a minor road crossing which falls under the nationwide standard where you don't have to buy any credits. There's only 0.04 of an acre.
I see. Okay.
DEQ came out after the Corps had issued the permit and said, wait a minute, you've got 8,000 feet of agricultural ditches that have been there for 100 years. We're going to make you buy credits for that 8,000 feet of ditches.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Donald, how much acreage are we talking about here that the last building's going to go on? How many acres are there? How large is the area?
I'm not sure if I quite understand
that. The building that we're talking about. That
pad size, what's the site size?
The site size is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 10,000 square feet, if I remember correctly.
Where the last building's going.
The last building, yes.
But so if we have it stipulated that you can't do anything else ever with that piece of property but build what you're planning to build, wouldn't that suffice?
And it does. The proffers do say that there are targets that must be met or the CO will not be issued for the townhouse development. But picture yourself as a developer for a
Oh, wait a
moment.
minute, wait a minute. Okay, you're saying that I don't recall it. It stipulates that the target must be met.
There's a target that must be met for the townhouse development, and I'm talking about building commercial buildings, or building permits are held up.
He's correct. The way the proffers are worded,
Well,
it says if the townhouses are built, I'll read it to you.
Hang on.
In the event the townhouses are constructed first, then the benchmark event for buildings 19 and 20 would be the issuance of the 34th townhome unit certificate of occupancy. So yes, they have tied the construction of the townhouses to those commercial floor area promises. But independently of that, the apartment construction can proceed. So, I mean, it boils down to, if you're comfortable with having 344 units of apartments and perhaps no commercial, or having 344 units of apartments and some townhouses under construction and the commercial required to be constructed coincidentally with some of those townhouses,
Right.
then you could accept it as it's written.
Okay. All right. Well, let me ask the board, what's the sense on that?
I don't have a problem with it.
George?
And I think you explained how the commercial units were tied into the building of the apartments and the condos when you gave your verbal to us. Is that in writing in the proffers?
With respect to the townhouses, it's in writing.
But
It
there's
says that the commercial has to proceed coincidentally with the townhouse construction if the townhouses are constructed first. They've also promised that they will build certain percentages of the commercial space as the project progresses. But there is also the provision that says, regardless of those things that we promised, the apartments can be developed, all 344 units, without any holds on construction that are associated with the commercial construction.
No?
I mean, from my personal perspective, I don't have a problem with apartments. As long as we get to commercial, and you've got over half the property is going to be left as a leverage for the business development, essentially.
Mr. Chairman, it's in there. It's exactly in there.
Chairman, may I make one
Sure, go ahead.
observation clearly? I'm here for H.H. Hunt, and our projected time build on that is 18 months.
And which one? You talking about the
The
apartments?
townhomes. We are
Oh,
not,
townhomes.
we're not doing anything but the townhomes.
Okay.
We're going to be a driving force. I mean, that's the beauty of this, is the apartments are separate from the townhomes. We're going to be contracting to them that we've got to be taking down these townhomes. And like I said, in one development, we've sold 18 units this month.
Well, I mean,
So-
it's just right now, I'm just trying to get the
So
schedule
if
squared.
you're
So
holding up our COs, we're going to be driving the force that the COs have got to be released. and
Well,
they
right
might be
now, the
building
way
them.
it's coming across is your COs are going to be held up based upon development of that
Or
commercial
we're going
property.
to be, or we're going to be the people that are in court pushing him to build that building so we get our
As long as
COs.
somebody's in court,
Not the
right?
county, that's my point.
All right, let's see, Walt,
I've already said my take.
well, are you okay with the schedule, or what?
I'm okay with that.
right,
I say the weight of the argument fell going forward with the tightening up.
I
but
still
that's
have one piece left, and that is
The sidewalk.
the sidewalks. How are you going to complete the sidewalk? I mean, whose property are you running that sidewalk
And when are
on
they
up
going in?
to the
It will,
Regal?
it will be located within the Commonwealth Drive right-of-way. Now, I need to qualify that we haven't surveyed that portion of it. I've looked at the plats when Commonwealth Drive was dedicated to the county and ultimately to the state. I've looked at that, and the right-of-way is there. And if it's not, we're going to have to pipe that ditch that goes along there and build it. That would be a proffer that would be binding. And that would be go in with the first extension of Commonwealth
All right.
Drive.
Does it have anything to do with Kiln Creek at all?
I'm not sure if I understand
Does
the
Kiln
question.
Creek own any, Kiln Creek Properties own that, or the shopping center own any of that?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's with, Commonwealth Drive is a public right-of-way, and it's not located within it. If you look at Commonwealth Drive, if you get a chance to
So
ride by,
will you be connecting the sidewalk all the way to the shopping center?
all the way to the Regal Theater. And this is
Regal Theater,
substan-
you don't have that much further to go to connect it to the Kiln Creek Shopping Center.
I don't know how you
I don't know how they do it.
I don't know how you do it, because you have to go across that business
Have to cross
property
the
on the
street.
right, and then you have to cut across the street.
Well, when you
The
start
regular-
cutting
the regular